Olympic does?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's obviously Clutter plays in a lot of different situations for us. So, but we have a lot of guys that can step in and fill that void. And Sash, he's played in this league before. He knows what he's got to do. Like I said yesterday, we've been talking a lot about the D zone, things we need to communicate over, and he'll be ready to go.
Do you think his speed just adds an extra element to that line?
Oh yeah, definitely. He skates well. He gets on pucks. He also can be physical. Maybe not as physical as Clutter, but definitely physical when he needs to be. And speed is definitely one of his attributes.
Matt, covered the Mets this past week in the playoffs, and Chris Bassett said something which was very interesting. He talked about playing in New York and the market and how it's different than anywhere else. That if you go on a 3-game losing streak, it's like the sky is falling down. Does it take a particular athlete to be able to handle that? And you played in another market, Toronto, is similar to that. But is it different here?
Yeah, my only two experiences are here in Toronto, and I would say they're both demanding with passionate fan bases that want to win. And as an athlete, I mean, that's what you want. Obviously, there's some scrutiny and criticism that comes along with that, but I think we know what we sign up for as players, and I would definitely want a fan base that's passionate over one that doesn't really care, or an organization that doesn't really care. If we lose 3 games in a row, we'll be as upset as the fan base as well, and so will the organization and the coaching staff and the general manager. So, but yeah, New York has in all their sports, has a very passionate fan base who is willing to express that one way or the other. And but I personally love it, and I can't speak for everyone, but you certainly have to be able to block out things when things aren't going well, and understand that gotta get back on track for sure.
In saying that, how much does it mean to you that ever since you've been here, you've been one of the fan favorites, because they love your effort and everything you bring? So in that market, being a fan favorite, what does it mean to you personally?
Yeah, listen, I love New York. I'm from a small town in Canada, and married a New York girl, and spend all my time here now. So I got nothing bad to say about living here. And the fan base, like you said, has been always extremely supportive of me, and even off the ice with my foundation, they always come out and throw a lot of money so I can do the things that I want to do for people that need it. And they're extremely supportive, and they care. And at the end of the day, they want to see us win. And, like I said, there's definitely times that you deal with scrutiny, and like last year when we didn't meet expectations. But as an athlete, I think you expect that, and kind of comes with the territory.
And lastly, you mentioned expectations. Obviously, the 2 years with that success, coming into camp last year, there's that expectation. When you don't meet those expectations the following year, maybe externally the expectations aren't there, but I know internally you guys, the idea is to win the cup. But when this external pressure isn't as high, does that give you a little chance to breathe and maybe not hold the stick so tight?
Yeah, I think the older you get, the less you pay attention to what the outside expectations are and what those things can be. Now, obviously, I would say the fans and the media really say who's the cup favorites and who's this and who's that, and more often than not, I would say they're wrong. It doesn't always work out the way it says it's going to work out, but you try to block out as much of the outside noise as possible, and saying that. I think we just felt the weight last year because we know we're a good team. We expected to compete for a Stanley Cup, and we didn't. And obviously, we got off to such a poor start that we were chasing it for the rest of the year. So you kind of grip your stick a little tighter because you don't have a whole lot of wiggle room in terms of wins and losses. And I think after a long off season, a chance to regroup, we're motivated and hungry, and I think the start of our season is very important. Every team has ups and downs, but if you can get off to a good start and kind of build yourself a little bit of a cushion when you do have, when you do battle adversity, you don't feel the weight of the world as much. If you, speaking of New York teams, look at a team like the Yankees, who got such a great start. Had a bad month and a half where they couldn't win a ball game, but they still had such a commanding lead in their division that you weren't too concerned, even though, and then they sorted it back out, and that's why the start of the season is so important.